was created to promote accountancy in Uganda. Every jurisdiction has a professional accountancy body. I know there are so many professional accountancy bodies in developing economies, especially where there are no local professional bodies. But even where you find local professional bodies, you may find other stronger bodies. But as we develop in our various jurisdictions, each jurisdiction has a framework within which the profession, within which the education, within which the legal reforms or legal frameworks are undertaken. So in Uganda, we have the ICPAU, which is supposed to drive the accountancy profession in the country. And the council of the institute realized that education is key. Along the way, we'll hear from the chair education. But one important thing which they did for the accountancy profession is to put together this scholarship program, where you have all been invited to the launch of unveiling of the 2021 beneficiaries and the launch of the 2022 student call for those who will be able to benefit. The professor will say why we did that, why council felt it important that we shall have a scholarship, and mine was just to make sure that you are comfortable, sit tight, prepare your questions. If you fear the mic, please write them down and forward them to the president of the institute for as many questions as possible, for us to understand each other and to see how we can grow our economy. I would like to take this opportunity, without returning the mic, to invite our chairperson for education to give the members an overview why ICPAU introduced the scholarship program. You're welcome, Professor.
Thank you, CEO. Our chief guest, CPA Professor Twaha Chigongo Kawasi, the president of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, CPA Constant Mayende, other members of the council, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. My job is very simple. I'm just going to give you an overview of the Students' Scholarship Program. The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, ICPAU, wishes to sponsor best performing university graduates who desire to undertake the Certified Public Accountants course, the CPA course, through the ICPAU Student Scholarship Program. The ICPAU Student Scholarship Program provides an opportunity to students to become professional accountants by offering financial aid. By offering financial aid to meet study materials, registration, and exam fees. Specifically, the scholarship program covers the following. Number one is the examination fees. Yeah. So on level one, we have 7 papers. If there are any exemptions, you have 5 papers. Level 3, you have 5 papers. And level 4, you have 1 paper. So the scholarship covers examination and exemption costs for these papers. Okay. Then also the scholarship program covers registration fees, annual renewal fees, and study. The annual renewal fees is for the 2 years. It's for 2 years. Then study material costs for 18 papers. So the question is, who are the beneficiaries, the eligible beneficiaries of this scholarship program? So we are saying that beneficiaries will be selected from public and private universities immediately after completion of the bachelor's degree for academically proven excellent students. Yeah, so we are looking at students from public and private universities that have just completed their bachelor's degree. Beneficiaries should have majored in accounting or finance disciplines, and they must demonstrate strong academic excellence with a CGPA qualifying them to a second-class upper degree or above. Yeah. So successful students are expected to complete the CPA course once this scholarship is given to you. The successful students are expected to complete the CPA course within a period of not from the time of registration. The financial aid scholarship will not be applied for receiving a paper. It will not be applied for receiving a paper. Okay. The student scholarship program does include tuition. However, the institute will partner with an approved training institution to provide program. I mentioned earlier that we are looking at students from public and private institutions, public and private universities. However, the eligible universities are those that are accredited by National Council for Higher Education. Okay, so the eligible public universities include Busitema University, Gulu University, Regarding the scholarship terms and conditions. So what are the benefits? The scholarship program does not only yield a financial benefit to the beneficiaries, but also enables individuals acquire an education of their interest, hence boosting one's career. This program by the Institute is an opportunity to give back to the community, an initiative that fulfills social responsibilities. So this is what I can say as an overview of the ICPAU Student Scholarship Program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Raura. She's a patron of Assam in MOBS Mbarara. And therefore, what she has said is just to inspire all of us to aspire for this kind of education she has read in the benefits. And I want to assure you, I'm a believer in Proverbs 4:13. It says, your education is your life, you guard it. And as you step into this profession and train and qualify, you'll be climbing higher, like the Ghanaians say, you'll get exposed. And therefore, you should walk the talk as you will be taught in ethics. Thank you so much, Professor. And now we are going to unveiling beneficiaries for this third cohort and signing of statements of undertaking. CPA Ronald Mutumba, who is the chairperson member services committee, has made a very impactful moment in ICPAU when we hosted the Africa Congress of Accountants, which was the third. I want to assure the House that there is no, on this continent, a Congress that was as successful as the one he championed. I am not surprised that actually he's the chair, Member Services Committee. CPA Ronald Mutumba, you are now ready to unveil the beneficiaries. And I want to say this to the beneficiaries. When you have completed your course on graduation, they'll read your name and you stand. They read your name, you will keep standing. And then they will give you these statements of undertaking. And when you receive them, you sit and sign them. And then your journey will have started. Thank you so much, CPA Ronald Mutumba, to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you for the compliments, much appreciated. Our chief guest, CPA Wechitibwa Professor Haji Kawase. You're most welcome again to the family to preside over our events. My president, CPA, fellow CPA professor, CEO, and our guests. To our latest cohort that I'm going to have the honor to unveil, I would like to use this opportunity to welcome you to a journey that should be a calling for you for the rest of your life. There will be trials, there will be tough times, but it will be worth it. The biggest message is you're joining a family of professionals. And from the moment you sign our statement of understanding, my call to you, my plea is always consider yourself a professional who at every single minute is being judged by the community in which we exist. Don't be afraid of being judged. Let it be an honor to be judged so that you can prove that you're worth who you are. So at this moment, I have the honor to unveil the following as the members, the beneficiaries of the third cohort of our scholarship scheme, namely Alinda Charity Renella, they read your name, from Uganda Christian University. Amon Vicky from Lira University. Mbru Leona from Makerere University Business School. Is she with us? Or she's graduating. We have Mwanje Lawrence from Barara University of Science and Technology. Nakasoma Caroline Sharon from Chambogo University. Nalugo Hanifa from Makerere University. Namwano Emily from Uganda Matters University. Nuamanya Bruno from Barara University of Science and Technology. Okello Walter Haggard from Gulu University. And Wochet Joseph from Makerere University. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to be beneficiaries of a scholarship scheme that is a partnership between the institutes and also our partners in the training of professionals. And to our partners, Professor Samuel Sejaka, representing your team, and the team from Glory Professionals. I will sneak in my appreciation, very big appreciation, for the contribution of those two particular institutions in grooming the accountants we are. Some of us have traveled the journey through those institutions, and to the team that is coming on board, be assured that you're partnering, you're beneficiaries of a partnership with the best that we have in the country. So, CEO and team, there we have the beneficiaries. If we can have the next part of it.
Thank you so much, CPA Ronald Mutumba. Meaning you are endorsing that you agree on to the terms and conditions that apply. Thank you so much. I don't know whether they have benefited from our programs, at least for Makerere University Business School, even Kampala. I'm sure the professor has always called us and big demonstration of being an excellent student. As you sign, I want to congratulate you because if you are mediocre as student, you wouldn't be here. Please carry on. Otherwise, why not finish the program in 2 years? And we celebrate that as well. We are one of the candidates. You know, the devil is always alive, but we shall defeat the devil. Has just called one of us who was engaging her. She developed a very bad fever, but she will sign at an appropriate time when she gets well. So she's being, attended to see that she improves. We are now going to get remarks from our dear partner, that is Matt Abacus, and representing the team is the CPA Professor Samuel Chisache Sejaka, who is an accountant, he's an academician, he's also a businessman. So if it was in Africa, he's a man who can cook you food because those are 3 stones that hold a saucepan. And with those 3 stones, you are good to go. He's a country team leader of Matt Abacus, and he also once lectured at Makerere University, Kampala. He's a partner in Sejaka Kawase Certified Public Accountants. So, Professor, you are most welcome to give your partner's remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. I don't know how to go about the protocol. I don't know how to call the chief guest, whether I call him my brother, whether I call him HT Wakatikiro, whether I call him my partner. But I guess the chief guest is all those things. So our chief guest, you're most welcome. President ICPAU, the chairpersons of the Education Committee and Members Services Committee, the CEO of ICPAU, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. The chief guest and I have been teaching for longer than we can remember. That means we have been teachers long before you were born. In fact, some of the people who are in front here, including your president, were our students. So we are privileged that you are joining a long line of tradition and success. We are really pleased that you have been selected out of very many people, and you have succeeded in achieving these scholarships. So I want to congratulate all of you. You don't want to clap for yourselves. I want to start by congratulating all of you for achieving these scholarships. If you read the history, and I think, Derek, we need to write the history of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. These people will not know where we have come from. There was a time in this country when there were no accountants. I think we had about 5 or 6 who were qualified, and they started, and there was a lot of struggle. Today, the problem is the reverse. Accountants are coming out of every corner. So the shortage now is on jobs. Okay? The shortage now is on jobs. So when I say you are joining a long tradition, you should really be proud, because now the accountancy profession in Uganda is very well established. And the chief guest and the members of the institute have contributed a lot to where we have been able to arrive. For us as Matt Abacus, we are happy that some of you will be joining us. I don't know who will be joining us, but I understand 4 of you will be joining us, and we welcome all of those who will be joining us. But we also welcome those who will be joining the other institutions. These days, we talk about collaboration. And I've been telling my colleagues that why don't we have an association of tuition providers so that we look at these issues. And I sent a message to them. So we talk about collaboration. There are so many people who need education. The few institutions which are available are not even in a position to provide that education. The biggest cause of underdevelopment in our country is lack of education. When you don't have education, you become ignorant. The biggest problem for our economy is the lack of a strong middle class. So even when you see the politics of the country going the way it is going, it is because you have a very small middle class. And all of us in that middle class, either you're one paycheck away from poverty, or you are so afraid you keep quiet about what is going on in this country. So when I see the efforts being made by ICPAU to ensure that more and more of you become qualified, more and more of you are going to become voices of reason in this society, we at Matt Abacus become very excited. So we want to welcome you to this journey which you're going to undertake. We've been giving out scholarships since 2019. In 2019, we gave 10 scholarships. In 2020, we gave 7. And in 2021, we are giving 4. That should inform you to the difficulties that we are facing in this economy. Instead of increasing the number is what? Is going down. So if you have gotten a scholarship, you are lucky. You are lucky, you are blessed. Please use that opportunity. Use that opportunity to shine. Okay? Use that opportunity to shine. Today, if you look at the numbers in the universities, if you look at the number of students coming out of the university, there are so many. Every day I get requests from parents. Now it is even the parents who are doing what? Who are applying for the jobs for the children. Chief guest, if you remember, Honorable, when you and I were leaving Makerere University, there was a gentleman called Canon Bikangaga. He was sitting in the Faculty of Arts interviewing us and saying, where do you want to go? I remember Haji went to what is now called UMI. That is where he started. I went to the Ministry of Finance. That is how far we have come. So are we going forward or backwards? You tell me. Somebody said there's nothing we can't make apart from aeroplanes, but I think we have a very serious crisis in terms of employment. So if you have gotten a chance, please use this chance. And why am I emphasizing this? Out of these scholarships which were given, 21, 3 people dropped off. You know, when you have been given this opportunity, even God gets annoyed. Why did I give this opportunity to somebody who does not appreciate it? So the best reward you can give us is to be exemplary. You have been chosen because you are some of the best. But now you might get a job, you might get a bit of money, you might get things which distract you. Then we will lose the plot. How do we continue justifying giving the scholarships? It is you to make us justify the giving of the scholarships, being exemplary what? Students. So I really would like to congratulate you and hope that you will heed my cry that please be exemplary, be leaders. So I wish you success in this journey. And one day I hope you will remember when you meet me. I will not remember you because after 30 years, I don't remember the students. Let me tell you, I went to play golf this morning. So as I was going on the first tee, a gentleman who was our student, I don't remember him. He's called Absalom. He was in Umeme. He said, "Professor, how are you?" I said, "How are you? Who are you?" He said, "You don't remember me. My name is Absalom. I was in Faculty of Commerce." And I said, that was in the 1990s. Were you born in the 1990s? You were not. So this is why I'm telling you that when I don't greet you, it is not because I don't want to greet you. It's because I have been at it for so long. Sometimes I don't remember the face. So when you meet me and you have graduated, you will say these words to me: "Professor, I had you. I was exemplary." I wish you luck and all the best. Thank you so much.
Is that enough for Professor for such words of wisdom? That is much better. Thank you so much, Professor, for those inspiring words. And to those who are, getting this opportunity, you better tie this around your neck as a treasure because it might be snatched. Like the professor said, you can get a job and they are paying you 1M, you think it is that, and you don't have time to complete. And yet when you complete, you'll have it all. Take the professor's words with the caution. It is now time to have remarks from our president, but as you have seen me, I'm such a small person. I cannot qualify to invite the whole president of the institute. Since my boss is around, allow me invite with due respect CPA Derek Nkaja, the CEO, to invite the president to address us. Thank you so much.
As the profession grows, we are also learning protocol, and we want to play within the society to be at par with what others do. You see the politicians, when they are calling their big person, they start from the LC1, LC2, LC3 until the last one. So even us, we want to acknowledge the leadership in our profession. This profession in this country is led by the president of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, and our current president, whom we call the 9th president of ICPAU, the CPA Constant Othieno Mayende. I welcome you, dear president, to come and address the beneficiaries and the media and the friends we have around. You're welcome.
Thank you, Derek. I don't think you only called me, but I am actually the 9th president. Our chief guest this afternoon, Owechtiwa, Haji, Al-Haji, I believe, CPA Professor Twaha Chigongo Kawase, members of council present, CPA Professor Laura, and my colleague, my friend, the High Commissioner of Namutumba to Uganda, CPA Ronald Mutumba, the tuition providers, Matt Abacus, represented by my own professor, Samuel Sejaka, and in absentia, Glory Professional Consultants. Are they represented? Okay. Of course, they are our partners in this exercise. And the CEO of the Institute, CPA Derek, and your team. I've seen quite a number of your colleagues here. The beneficiaries of the 2021 scholarship scheme, our friends from the media. I have seen our veteran Deo in the room, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I wish to start by once again welcoming you, our chief guest, Professor Twaha Kawase. And just so that you may know, CPA Professor Twaha Kawase is actually the recipient of our last year's Gold Service Award for Accountancy Services. I think MCU didn't mention that. I was there physically, and I think I handed over that award. So it's a very, very big one. And I think it's once in lifetime. Yes. So I think the choice of having you this afternoon is not in any way by mistake. Thank you for being here. And of course, thank you for prioritizing this invitation of ours. And if I could just steal for our members, when you came in, we were chatting briefly and you said, once you've diarized things of the Institute, that's it. Thank you so much for honoring us always. We are aware of your busy schedule, but because of your love and affinity to the profession, you are always around and you are here this afternoon to inspire our young people. Today is a historic day, especially in the professional journey of our young people here who are the beneficiaries of the third cohort of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda Scholarship Scheme. It's a lifetime opportunity. And the previous speakers have made mention of this, and I would like to add my voice that this opportunity will usher you into the accountancy professional world. I still believe that it's a very rewarding profession. The numbers are growing, but as the economy grows, I believe we will need more of you. And I say this because there are people who call themselves accountants and occupy space that we are supposed to be occupying as accountants. So by having you, we are actually solving that problem, that we will have the right people seated in the right places. I therefore congratulate you upon being among the 10 eventual winners from among 206 applicants. So you can see 10 out of 206, those who did computing, computational subjects, you can look at that and 206 applicants, you're among the 10. Now, our goal was and still remains to nurture talent among the young people by providing an opportunity to pursue the CPA course. The facilitation ICPAU and the tuition partners offer should motivate you to pursue the course in the shortest time possible. When Professor Laura was giving an overview of the scheme, she said you have to complete within 2.5 years. And that's really more than enough time. We expect that it's possible. And the program targets first and second upper class degree holders, both from public and private universities. And from the list that has been read, you could see that you are drawn from both public and private universities. So far, in the first and second cohorts, 20 beneficiaries have been awarded this opportunity. But unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic that disrupted us in 2020 and part of 2020 and part of 2021, we were not able to have a very smooth sailing. Nonetheless, I'm pleased to announce that one of the beneficiaries of the first cohort, Charles Nasasira, actually completed the course in March this year. So that means it's possible. Amidst the difficulties, many more because it's one of the avenues through which the institute can increase the pool of CPAs in a bid to promote professionalism in accountancy and the country at large. I think this is not a secret. If we are people who read newspapers, we listen and watch news on electronic and I mean print and electronic media, that we have a problem of integrity in our country, both in the private and public sectors, by the way. So when we have more of you joining us, we believe that we should be able to promote professionalism and doing things the way they are supposed to be done. So far, we have over 4,500 students who have completed the CPA course since we started in the late 90s. As a country, we still require more professional accountants to serve the economy because of the reasons I've mentioned before. Therefore, deliberate efforts to grow the members or to grow the numbers are actually welcome. And that's why we cannot cease to thank Matt Abacus Business School and Glory Professional Trainers who have joined us in this journey. And it is not by no surprise that they are actually professional accountants themselves. Finally, I thank the teams that participated in processing and evaluating the applications, the Education Committee, chaired by Professor Laura here, and the Member Services Committee, chaired by CPA Ronald. I extend my appreciation to the tuition providers. I've done this and let me do it again, that are complementing the scholarship scheme with, we call it free tuition, but it's not free for those tuition providers. It's free for you, but for them, there is a cost. And we also thank them for the mentorship that they give to the students. Thank you so much for serving the profession. I now take this opportunity, in fact, it's a singular opportunity, to welcome our chief guest this afternoon, Owechitiibwa, Professor CPA Twaha Chigongo Kawase, to speak to our beneficiaries of the 2021
CPA Professor Sejaka. Guess I was given a blank check. They didn't tell me what to say. So I said, now, what do I say? I said, okay, I'm going to structure my thoughts on an account and how to stay an accountant. Who is an accountant? Why do you become an accountant? And how do you stay and remain an accountant? Then I will do the honor of launching the 2022 Student Scholarship Program. I was given 20 minutes. Believe you me, I will try to be within those 20 minutes. My partner, Professor Sejaka, said the accountants are coming from all over the corners. I want to disagree, Prof. These are people who have heard about accounts. They are not necessarily accountants. They are coming from all corners. People who have heard about accounts. Like now, you've heard about accounts. You guys who are seated here. You are not yet accountants. Makerere is churning out guys who have heard about accounts this week. Every year I'm churning out, I don't know how many. I don't know. People who have heard about accounts and they are yet to become accountants. You need to get that differentiation very clearly. Okay? From the word go. An accountant is a professional person. He's a professional. And once you're a professional, therefore he belongs to a profession. And once it's a profession, the guys who are in that profession have to guard it jealously. So you welcome to a profession which you must guard jealously and protect it. We have clear rules of entry
How do you become an accountant? We have clear rules of staying. How do you stay in the accounting world? We have clear rules of exit. Very clear rules. Okay? Very clear rules. So I'm saying you cannot be an accountant unless you are an accountant. Do you get me? You cannot be an accountant unless you are what? An accountant. I'm sure you have all had some bouts of malaria. Isn't it? You go to the clinic next door and the doctor is not yet there. But there is a nurse. Okay? The nurse will give you an injection of whatever that cures malaria. Actually, you get cured of malaria. But does that make the nurse a doctor? Is the nurse a doctor because he has given you an injection? Actually, may be very unlucky. Like, sorry to say, our Dr. Jolly. And she was supposed to be injected by a doctor. But she got an injection from a nurse. The injection was supposed to be, you have to put it slowly, IV, yeah. The nurse came all out of the way. She gave the injection in one push. The heart gave way. So, we are looking for accountants. We are not looking for nurses. The CEO mentioned who an accountant is. Briefly, he said, we have an act. The Accountants Act 2013. It clearly says who an accountant is. You have to be enrolled to the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda to become an accountant. And to be enrolled, don't just wake up to Proti 42, right? 42 Bukoto Street, that here I am. I think I have a sharp head. Put me on the register of accountants. No. You have to go through the grading because you're joining a profession that is guarded jealously. Otherwise, it ceases to be a profession. Okay? So it is at this point that I want to thank the Institute and the partners of the Institute for having seen it wise and having recognized that there are potential accountants out there who are challenged, but they want to become accountant. Institute, thank you so much for the scholarship, and thank you the partners who are working with the Institute. Thank you so much. So, this is a profession. In fact, I can actually even say the issues of integrity my president was talking about in the press. If I can count, we don't have 5 accountants who have been caught, more than 5 who have been caught on the wrong side of the integrity when you read the press. All those stories you hear, these are people who heard about accounts, not necessarily accountants. We have had accountants, true, but they are not more than 5. So, this is a profession and it is a calling, as somebody said here. It's a calling. It is unique. It requires very clear moral requirements. It requires unique attachment. It is not something you want to do casually. It is something you must always stand up and defend. That is what you are joining. And that's the accountant I'm talking about. Yes, to become an accountant, you need the foundation. You need to go through the O levels, A levels, and the first degree. In fact, when I'm teaching, because I also teach, I always tell my students, they say, I'm not getting. ICPAU, then you would have widened your chances. So we are done away with who an accountant is, and I'm saying welcome to becoming an accountant. So why should you become an accountant? It's a question. Why? People used to say that accounting is about numbers, number crunching. No. It's not about being a guru in the number crunching, in adding things together. No. You know, these days, computers do things for us, but they don't take away the need for an accountant. They don't take away the need to understand what goes into that computer, how it is processed within the computer, and how to interpret what has come out of the what? Of the computer to be able to add value to the entity you are working for. So if you want to be a value-adding employee, a value-adding person in society, I'll come back to that point later. The place to be, the profession to take is accounting. Hey, and she's laughing at me. You think I can say law? No. I'm not going to say law. I'm not going to say medicine. I'm not going to say whatever. For me, I know if you want to be a value-adding person to society, to business, to the entities you are working for, to the whole world, I'll tell you the place to be is accounting. The Baganda say, we mamba kolachi, one a year. Okay, it is accounting. It's the place to be because you can work anywhere. You can fit anywhere. Is there money? Yes. I'm not aware of any institution that does not have money. Even the mortuary, is there money? Do you know mortuary is A+ funeral service because of it? Yeah, that is, forget about the stock in the mortuary. Forget about their stock. Forget about their inventory, right? But is there money there? Yes, there is money. A lot of it. I'm not aware of any institution where there is no inflows and outflows. As long as there are inflows and outflows, there is a need for debit and credit. Is there a need for debit and credit? Yes, there is a job for an accountant. What's your name? Vicky, you're so excited. Yes, welcome. Welcome. Yeah. So is the money the medium of exchange in this institution? Yes. We shall always need an accountant. There are 3 professors here. So there is accounting in academia. There are auditors here. There is accounting in auditing. There is accounting in tax. There is accounting in forensics. There is accounting. There is accounting in politics. Haven't you heard about accountants in politics? They are there. There's accounting in sports. So I teach, I practice, I sit on boards, I serve the Kabaka in any gears, I go to the mosques and put my skills to at work. All these things are anchored on Accounting. So when I say accounting is the place to be, well, you can work anywhere in the world. Forget about Uganda here, right? We are Uganda, fine. Uganda, I've told you can fit in any industry. Now the world. Why? Have you heard of what they call international standards? Hey, well, they are called international for what? for the reason that whoever follows these standards, wherever they are applied, that person will be able to do what? To work. International auditing standards, international financial reporting standards, international standards on ethics, international standards, international. So you are international. And you've started the journey of becoming what? International. And I'm telling them. Okay? You are international. It prepares you. Accounting prepares you to be great entrepreneurs. That's another point for you. Great entrepreneurs. Because of what? Because you know how money is generated, utilized, and accounted for. That is all about entrepreneurship. You must be able to have the idea, implement it. Those ideas will fall away out of the way if there's no money and it's not properly accounted for. Accountants, you are always in demand. Always you are in demand, and forever you'll be in demand. That is a fact. The profession is not about to go anywhere. No. They tell us the oldest profession, I'm not going to say it, but it is there, but also ours. We are not about to go anywhere. There is something on WhatsApp in saying this is a profession, even you find it before God, because we are going to account before the Almighty. Isn't it? It's accounting on earth here and accounting in where? In heaven. You present your balance sheet there. What a beautiful world when the Almighty is asking me and I'm saying, hey, I debited here. He said, no, there was more credits. And we're in a conversation talking accounting. It's accounting up there. So it's accounting all over the place. So it's not about to go away. It is here to stay. And you're in the right place. Well, it is hugely rewarding. Look at the salaries that come with the accountants who are just at the beginning of their careers compared with other people who are just at the beginning of their careers. These are generous salaries and offers you great opportunity for progress. And above all, society notices you if you do what I'm going to say. How to remain an accountant. Society will notice you for the good things. I don't know, some people here went through Makerere College School, but I went through Makerere College School. Oh, wow, OB. There we say, be known by works, but only good works. So society will notice you if you do good works. It can notice you for the bad works. But in accounting, we only want you to be noticed for the good what? Good works. So I'm about to end. How do you remain an accountant? How do you remain an accountant? After you've joined, you've gone through the grilling, you've gone through the bursaries, you've gone through. How do you remain an accountant? Well, first thing is be patient. Be patient. Don't be greedy. We came out in Makerere in 1980. Museveni was going to give us a big and we escaped. No, it was Rutwa and we escaped. So we are the first people to be awarded degrees by President Museveni in 1987, January. So it's that long. So when you see me with a nice watch and a good suit and driving a good car, It's bloody 34 years. Now, you young guys, you want to get rich quick. Believe me, you are in Ruzira. Yeah. You will not have stayed an accountant. It takes time. Of course, opportunity comes once. If you see an opportunity and it's a good opportunity, ethical opportunity, you take it. However, don't rush. When you rush, ugenda kutomera. So stay an accountant, be patient, take your time, be focused, know what you want to be. You want to be an accountant and remain an accountant. That's number one. And we have a very good profession which guided us of how to remain an accountant. It gave us a code of ethics. Don't we have a code of ethics? We do. Stick to that, you are good to go. There will be so many ethical dilemmas in your world. So many. In social life, personal life, professional life. So many things will come your way. So, the balancing act. People, students like you, they ask, but if the boss asks me to do something wrong, is my boss? Will I do it? Should I do it? Should I not do it? I always say, ask the boss to put whatever he or she wants you to do in writing. In what? If the fellow says, no, you go and do it, for God's sake, don't do it. I don't know whether you're following debates in the park. You know, park, Public Accounts Committee, COSASE, what? Huh? I always see these ministers and public officials. But he told us, but he told us, but it, where is the evidence? I know it was a phone call. Where is the phone call? Hey, but you could come. So, stick to the code of ethics. And it is the cardinal principle there is integrity. Integrity. You can see these pressmen. They are your friend when you're doing good things. But just like a small dot here. You say what? You put a dot here and they say, what do you see here? They will not see the white stuff here. They will see like a dot. They will not be seeing the good things you have done. Because it doesn't make news. So whatever you do, always think, can this thing be a headline of tomorrow's Monitor? That's a litmus paper test. Litmus paper was what? Economics of chemistry. Yeah, it was chemistry. Now, I'm doing this. I've been asked to do it. If I do it, and it is on the headline of Monitor tomorrow. By the way, this date is not even a Monitor. No, we have journalists who are not even trained to be journalists. It is social media. There and then it's there and then, do not even wait for tomorrow's printed paper. No, it is the uncensored news. Straight, boom. Accountant so and so has been caught, ready-handed, fidgeting with a check. Yay. So, live by the code of ethics. It has ways of how it is going to protect you. Finally, how to stay an accountant. You have to continuously update yourself. During when I was growing up in P7, I used to see my father with an analysis book. Analysis book. For you guys, you only know Excel. That was the book for petty cash recording. Then eventually I saw a petty cash book. Then eventually those things became computerized packages. Then now we are talking big data. Now, if you don't update yourself continuously, you remain the accountant of 1900. And that's why these standards are always, they are not static. These international standards of ours, they are not static. Wherever there is a change in the environment, they have to think of a standard to address that change. And therefore, it must be up to date. How many hours do you want before you struck us off the register? 40. Can you imagine? So when you qualify as an accountant, it's the beginning of studies. The moment you qualify and they have put you on the register, it's the beginning of books. It's the beginning of updating yourself. And you must provide the evidence that I have my 40 hours here. I learned A, B, C, D. It is new. Therefore, you remain an accountant. So once again, congratulations. And there wouldn't have been better choices than you guys. We have a lot of hope in you. Thank you for listening to me. And I wish you successful accounting credit profession. Mr. President, after this, you allow me to speak in Uganda. You see this? Yeah, after this. Yeah, baja kungoba. Okay. It is now my singular pleasure and honor to launch the 2022 Student Scholarship Program and to invite applicants, right? To invite applicants, you can access the criteria on the website. You can just walk into plot 42 Bukoto Street. They give you the criteria and you never know, you could be lucky. So I hereby launch the 2022 Scholarship Program. I think I'll do it. I'll do the Uganda after we have closed. I'll give you so that I don't hold people here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Twaha. Indeed, there was no better choice for this wonderful session. I've liked some words. You rush, you crash. And that's why even those who sell beverages, they say you never rush a Fanta. Because accounting is sweet, and therefore if you rush it, you'll crash. So if you rush a Fanta, it chokes you. Like Professor said, you show a white paper, they will see the black spot on it. Just like many people have said that if a dog bites a person, that is not news. But if you bite a dog, that is news. So you take note. And indeed, Professor, this young generation have this principle of 1, 2, 3, 4. In 1 year, they want to marry and have 2 kids. In the same year, they want to build a 3-bedroom house. And the same year, they want to have a 4-wheel drive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is what will crush you. So be patient like the professor has advised. I was in a session, in a career session. I don't remember, was it in Masaka? Where one person whom I can now strategically say has heard about our accounts, remarked that, you see, doctors handle one life. And that's why the professor was saying a nurse messed with that one life. And our dear colleague died. You, as an accountant, you handle the economy. If you don't touch our economy well, the life of the economy of the country will crash and the whole country will collapse. So take the professor's words very seriously. Thank you so much, Professor. At this moment, we are going to have A&Q session, and my daughter Nancy Akulo, Head of Communication, will lead us into that session, and then I will tell you what follows. Media, please, the Luganda version, like Professor has said, will come when these young people are stretching and are seeing. Thank you to the people who chose this venue. This venue is slightly above other areas of Kampala, and when you get to the balconies, that is where you will be after CPA. You will be on top of things. Thank you very much, and therefore, Nancy, please lead us into the question and answer session.
Thank you so much, Paul. My task this moment is very simple. I'm just going to guide you through our Q&A session. So our colleagues from the press, this is the moment where you get to ask us those questions, and we promise to tell you the truth. Okay, so what we are going to do, before we start, I'm just going to reintroduce our guests so that you match the names to the faces. I know you have the program with you, but just for purposes of accuracy, I'm going to introduce them one more time so that you know who is who. So to my extreme right is CPA Ronald Mutumba. I've got the pronunciation right. Yeah, Ronald is very passionate about the pronunciation of his name. So CPA Ronald Mutumba is the chairperson of the ICPAU Member Services Committee. Then next we have CPA Derek Nkaja. Derek is our CEO and also secretary to the council. And then next, of course, we have Professor Twaha Chigongo Kawase, who has been our chief guest. And then next we have our president, CPA Constant Mayende. And then finally, last but not least, we have CPA Professor Laura Orobia, who's the chairperson of the ICPAU Education Committee. So our colleagues, for those of us who came a little later, I hope you have gotten them right. Then we also have Professor at the first row, the gentleman at the extreme end, Professor Samuel Sejaka. Okay, are we okay now? Okay, so Professor, there's so many professors in the room, but Professor Kawase, our chief guest, I just want to please be informed that we have the following media houses before us this afternoon. We've got Bukede TV. You can just wave, ladies and gentlemen, so that he knows, so that you can get seen by the big men. We also have CBS Radio. I think that makes the professor very excited. CBS, where are you? Oh, yes, okay. We have Capitol FM, we have Sanyu, we have Nile Post, we have UBC Radio, we have BBS. Where's BB? Okay. We also have Campus B, we have Chimp Reports, we have CEO East Africa Magazine, we have Daily Monitor, we have UBC TV, and then we have Soft Power. I hope I haven't left anybody out, but Professor, that is how our media attendance looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to go very quickly into my task this afternoon. So this is what you're going to do in terms of our rules of engagement. You raise your hand. We're going to take 2 sets of questions because we have only 15 minutes. So you raise your hand and then you tell us, introduce yourself, media house, and then you ask your question. Please be precise because we do not have enough time. And then after one set, you will get response and then we'll do the other set and then we'll close. Okay, so by show of hands, anybody with a question? Okay. It seems we have only one mic, so we will share. I just need to borrow a sanitized. Is there another mic? Oh, okay. Can you? Oh, yeah, they are audible. Okay.
Professors gave two different jobs. One says we are short of jobs, meaning like accountants are more than the doctors. And another one says no, we have jobs everywhere. Now, while I might understand, I'm asking this question for graduate or a prospective graduate of CPA. Where is the problem? Is there a problem? Shouldn't they be discouraged that where I'm going there are actually no jobs, or should they be encouraged that actually there are jobs? I just want a reconciliatory statement on this.
Thank you, Nebat. Apologies, Uganda Radio Network. Yes, I omitted. That was an error. Sorry. Yes, next, there's a hand at the back.
Thank you very much. Nelson Mandela is my name. I work with CEO East African Magazine. When you see on the list of the eligible public universities, actually they make a total of 17, I think. Why these only? One would maybe think that all chartered universities should be eligible. Does this mean that maybe other universities don't teach well? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Benjamin from Chimpropots and Kampala Scoop. So mine would actually be, I'm so much concerned.
We didn't get the name of the second media house. If you could repeat.
Kampala Scoop.
Kampala Scoop.
Yeah. So mine would actually be a concern on the decreasing numbers of the scholarships that we are having. Because from since 2019, we saw there were 10 students, right? Then 2020, there were 7. And then 2021, we're seeing 4. So is it logistics or the sponsors are actually shying away out of this? Or since we have seen that, okay, let me not say it's like a hard course, because we have seen so many people failing, actually, these courses. There are so many people resitting for these exams. Then why would that be the case, that the number is decreasing in terms of sponsorships? And also maybe if you could give us a quick statistics on the number of accountants now, because since the ICPAU was established, your work has actually been trying to whip out the quack accountants. So if you could give us the numbers.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. Okay, we'll take one more and then we shall respond to the, okay, 2 more and then we'll respond to those. There's a hand. Oh, there are 3. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Muhammad Matovu. I work with Next Media, particularly the Nile Post.
Okay.
The chief guest talked about advised accountants of being patient and not being greedy. And yes, I understand that some accountants try to deviate from the professional code of conduct. And I just want to understand what kind of mechanism do you have in order to discipline these accountants, and how many so far, if in terms of statistics, do you have the accountants that have been probably disciplined, or do they cancel their how would we call it, certificate? I don't know the lack of better word, but I just want in that line, I just want to get to know how do you deal with this? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
As some of the sponsors. Can some other person sponsor? For example, me, Hermano Gracias. Can I sponsor somebody? And then I will also read me here, especially to be honored by the teacher of Uganda to read me somebody who sponsored, or it is strictly probably professional bodies and probably the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Deo. For those, we will take this, and then if there's any other, we'll come back to you. So I am going to hand over all these interesting questions to none other than the CEO. He will, if you'd like to delegate, that's upon him, but I'm throwing them all to him. Mr. Nkaja, please take the floor.
I can't delegate upwards. You have you have given me now to answer them all. Thank you, members, for the questions. I'll start off in no particular order. The names I may have forgotten, and probably that's something I share with the professor, although I'm not a professor. When I meet you, tell me your name, because sometimes I forget your names. Universities that we are selected, they look like they are only a few. To the best of your knowledge, no, to the best of our knowledge, based on what we cross-checked from National Council for Higher Education, those are the chartered universities we currently have. The universities are many, quite a number still running on they call it temporary license. So those are the ones. The moment we get another chartered, the list will increase. So that's the list as it stands from National Council for Higher Education. So we are not, the criteria that was chosen was chartered university. And that's what we are running. So someone asked about the numbers, the decreasing numbers. I think the decreasing numbers were from tuitional provision perspective. The entire sponsorship program has the costs that ICPAU incurs and what also the tuition providers incur. And it was a story or a journey of a tuitional provider saying, we started with a high number before COVID, but somehow we are moving downwards from 10, 7 to 4. But for the entire scholarship, the numbers are still the same. It's 10 per year. We're debating with the chairperson for member services whether we can't increase the number. So I did my math. I showed him why I probably may have to stay on that number for a while. But if we get sponsors, and now I go back, I join the DEO. If we get more sponsors, you individuals sponsoring, the numbers can increase. So DEO, if you have a check that can help us sponsor 10 more, you can draw it and we can straight away put it on the call for 2022. And I read your name. And yes. And I read your name. Then the question, there was a question on mechanism for disciplinary. Accountancy disciplines, and the highest form of punishment we normally give is to deregister you. And in the history of the institute, we have deregistered 4 people. but we want you to come into that disciplinary process. How do you come in? Because the way the law was listed, there must be a complainant and we must have evidence. Now you may realize that ICPAU is not police. We can't deploy a gathering machinery, an evidence gathering machinery in everyone's home. So the best is the person who is offended to come up to the institute and say, this accountant offended me, or this accountant did substandard work, or this accountant misdirected whatever was supposed to do, and you give us that evidence. Now, once that is done, then the disciplinary process can go on. The challenge we do have and probably which I may ask everyone to stand up, to rise up, and we redeem our nation. Many people want to keep quiet. But when something wrong has happened, it is our duty, it's your duty to rise up, show it, and then the process can start. Yes, the process may look like it takes a while because our constitution allows everyone a fair hearing. So you may probably want a solution that is given probably within a week, and yet the evidence has to be adduced and someone is given an opportunity to explain, and that takes about 6 months, a year, and then you say, no, there's no disciplinary process. But there is disciplinary process, and we have deregistered some accounts, some former members, some individuals, I think it's the right English. We have deregistered some individuals, and as the professor said, majority of the names you see shouting are not accountants. Our call is for you, when you join, come and occupy that space, because they are there because the numbers were still low. But as you take up the positions, they keep moving away. Because right now, at the time when I'm sure the professors started working in the banks, heads of finance were not professional accountants. Right now, you can't get a position there if you are not a professional accountant. So we are slowly moving. At districts, there are some few that are still having CFOs who are not professional accountants, but that's just in passing, because now they cannot recruit anyone new who is not a professional accountant. So that's how we redeem the nation, and that's how we do good to build our economy. I hope I have answered all. 2. Oh, you see, never asked the question and they had the answer. So somehow I had I had jumped it. But indeed, there are 2 sides of the coin. In fact, they say the coin has 3 sides. There are 3 sides of the coin. So it depends on where you stand. If you want high flying, I'm using those words loosely because you are asking me what are high flying. High flying jobs, the number at which they are growing is the rate is very slow. And yet, you as a person, when you are growing up, you will not become younger at all. So the competition for those such jobs is high. So for that, one professor is right that there are no jobs. For the other to say the jobs are everywhere, yes, because we are cleaning up. We want professionals to occupy their rightful place. So to me, there's no contradiction. The jobs are there. As you start, because you not start from the top, you start from the bottom. All of us, we are accounts clerks at one time. Anyone who says I was a professional accountant straight away, I want to see that person. Even our professors here, they started as accounts clerks. So for those roles, they are still there, and there are many. And the skill you bring when you have trained accountants makes that entity, however small it is, to grow. Because I remember at one time, an entity I used to work for, they told me their payroll these days. I said, what? I was working at their payroll those days and they were less than 150. And now they are 400, which means the entity has what? Has grown. Who does that? You are partly responsible, the accountants, because if you do the right credit and debit, the right strategy analysis, the right management accounting, the entity grows and the economy grows. I don't remember the last one. Those are the only ones I wrote. Oh, I missed that one. How many accountants are there? Our register, I answered it based on the jurisdiction. As you heard, we have more than 4,500 who have passed through qualified. We have about 3,400 full members. We have about another 2,000 associates. Associates, those are the ones who finished exams, but they have not yet attained practical experience to apply for full membership. But the law recognizes them and they can actually serve very well. Then we have the basic graduates, those who have just finished. They're about 600. So when you add through, those are more than 5,000, isn't it? Because why 5,000? Because we have other members who train from other jurisdictions and they were the base of the profession. They were registered and they become professions. They continue to register to become professional accountants in Uganda. How many accountants does the economy need? As many as the entities registered. Remember, they said Uganda, we are the most entrepreneurial nation across Africa. So every entity that registers really needs the services of an accountant. Now, statistically, I'm waiting for the new survey by UBOS. Because the last survey which was done, they said they projected that we had a demand of over 12,000 accountants. But we have never reached 12,000. We are somewhere, how many? About 5,000. So there is a gap. And that gap is occupied by the quacks. And that's why we fight to clean up. Any other?
Thank you so much, CPA Derek Nkaja, for truthfully and comprehensively answering those questions. I believe we are satisfied. Our time is fast spent, unless are there any other, maybe just one, because there's none. Okay, so we've come to the end of this particular activity. We have just a few announcements for our colleagues from the media. Number one, we are in the budgeting season, and I know you're often looking for experts to comment on the bills and the budget which was recently passed. Please reach out to us. We have a number of experts lined up from our taxation panel, and we'll be able to give you those. On 10th of June, we have our budget update webinar. That's a day after the national budget has been read. So we are inviting you to this. We will send you the details when the time comes. We also have, towards the end of July, 20th to 22nd of July, we have the Economic Forum. It's an important event for us because that's when we get to advise the government and come up with proposals that pertain to the economy. So we will also send you the details for that. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming and for honoring our invitation this afternoon. I now hand over back to MC and my father, Paul.
Thank you. I am the father because when she was sitting interviews, I was the one supervising. So thank you so much, Nancy, for able to take us through that session. Now we are going into a very brief moment, which is not on program, and that is a photo session. We don't want to move. I'm going to request the beneficiaries to just have a catwalk and stand behind the seated VIPs. I want to, exactly, that young man is called Angel, and the professor and colleague are going to sit there as our partners for this session. A photo moment, Professor. Thank you very much. I like the smile. It looks like you have already graduated. That is nice. These days, the camera people are funny. They never squat. Okay. They would squat, move forward, move backwards, and then get it all. If you are done, one of you raises the hand, and I will discharge the members. Thank you very much. As you move for health and strength, we shall move this end for refreshment. Just here for refreshment.